Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be discussing about the Steiner's analysis. So, Steiner analysis was developed by Cecil C. Steiner in year 1953, and this analysis is based on the skeletal analysis. It analyzes the soft tissue also, and it analyzes the dental tissue also. So there are three parameters which are being considered in the Steiner's analysis. First one is the skeletal analysis, then the dental analysis, and the soft tissue analysis. In the skeletal analysis, we have five parameters: SNA angle, SNB angle, ANB angle, mandibular plane angle, and the occlusal parameter. So let's see, start with the SNA angle. Now this SNA angle, as we know, A is present on the maxilla, right? So it simply measures the relationship of the maxilla with the cranial base. Okay, so the average angle should be 82 degree in SNA analysis. Now if this angle is more, right, if it is more, suppose like this, so of course that simply means that the maxilla is prognathic, right? And if it is less, this angle is less, say this one, then it means the maxilla is retrognathic. So this is how SNA angle is interpreted. Then we have the SNB angle. Now in the SNB angle, the SN and B is present on the mandible. So that will be telling you the relationship of the mandible with the cranial base. So this one also, if the angle is larger than the normal, what is the normal value first? 80 degree. Okay, 80 degree is the value of this particular angle. Now if it is more than 80 degree, right, if it is more, then that simply means that the mandible is coming forward. That means the mandible is prognathic. Now if this angle is less, okay, if it is less than the normal angle value, then it simply means that the mandible is retrognathic. So this is the significance of SNA and SNB. Now the third parameter of the Steiner's analysis is the A and B angle. Now this A and B angle tells you the relationship of the maxilla and mandible, right? So here the A point is on maxilla, B point is on mandible. Suppose the average value is only 2 degree. Suppose this value is more than the expected or the average value. So of course for that thing, if you want to increase the angle, for that thing the A should come forward, right? So that shows you the prognathism of the maxilla. That means the class 2 tendency. What happens if it is less? So if A is coming backwards here and the angle will be either negative or less here, so that means there is the retrognathism of the maxilla, right? So that will be telling you the prognathic mandible, or we can say this is the class 3 tendency. So this is how you can find the skeletal relationship of the both the jaws, A and B point, right? So now the fourth parameter is the mandibular plane angle. So this is also a skeletal parameter, and in this there will be the comparison between the SN plane and the mandibular plane. So there the angle between the SN plane and the mandibular plane in case of Steiner's analysis is the distance between or the plane combining the joining the points gonian and the Nathian. Okay, so for different analysis we are using different plane as the mandibular plane. For Steiner's it is gonian to Nathian, right? So this particular angle between the SN plane and the mandibular plane is called as the mandibular plane angle, and the value here is around 32 degree. Now if it is more than the normal value, then what will you see if we want to increase the angle like this? So this will be something like this, right? Now you can see the actual height has increased. That means these are the vertical growers, right? So if the angle, mandibular plane angle increases, that means the patient is a vertical grower, and opposite to this, if the angle is decreased, suppose like this, somewhere here, right? So the patient is more horizontal grower. So this is the significance of the mandibular plane angle. Now the next parameter is the occlusal plane angle. This is the angle between the occlusal plane and the SN. Okay, so here this is the occlusal plane. Now this passes from the occluding cusp of the molar, first molar and the premolars. Okay, and here we have the SN plane, and the angle here is called as the occlusal plane angle, and the value is around 14.5, right? So this is the average value. Now if it is more than that, that will be the vertical grower. If it is less than that, that will be the horizontal grower. So this is the significance of the occlusal plane angle also. Now we have the dental analysis. Now the first point or the first parameter in the dental analysis is the upper incisor to NA angle. So what is this? This is N and A. So a line joining N to A, right? And another is the axis of the maxillary central incisor. Okay, so the angle between the upper incisor and NA, the angle which is formed, that is known as upper incisor to NA angle, and the average value of this particular angle is 22 degree. So if it is more than 22 degree, if you want to see if the angle, suppose if it is increasing, the angle is increasing, so it should be like this, somewhat like that. That means the incisors are getting more proclined. So increased value of the number angle will be telling you the proclined incisors that can be seen in the class 2 division 1 or in the bimaxillary protrusion. Now the next dental parameter is the upper incisors to NA line, right? So it will be a linear measurement that measures the relationship of the alveolar bone and the proclination of the central incisors in relation to the alveolar bone, right? So it is a linear measurement that helps in determining the upper incisor position as well as its prominence relative to the alveolar bone. So here we can see this is N, this is A, so this is NA, and there will be a horizontal linear distance between the NA and the upper central incisors labial surface. So this is generally 4 mm. Okay, if it is more than 4 mm, that means there is more proclination or there is more overset also, right? And if it is less than 4 mm, then there is less proclination. So if it is increased, that will be mentioning that, or that will be indicating that the incisors are forwardly placed. The third dental parameter tells you about the lower incisors proclination, basically, or the inclination of lower incisors. So this is the lower incisor to NB angle. So just like the upper one we did, it is same. The angle will be measuring between the NB and the axis of the mandibular incisor. So this angle is generally 25 degree. Okay, if it is more than 25 degree, you can easily understand that if it is more than 25 degree, that means the mandibular incisors are proclined, and if it is less than 25 degree, much less than 25 degree, that means the mandibular incisors are more upright or retroclined. Then we have the lower incisor to NB linear. So again, same way, we'll have the NB here, and we'll check the distance between the labial surface or on the incisal aspect of this particular lower incisor. So the normal value is again 4 mm only. If it is more, that means this is more forwardly placed, and if it is less, that means it is backwardly placed. Now the fifth parameter is interincisor angle. As the name indicates, it is the angle formed between the upper and lower incisor. So if we draw the line passing through the axis of the upper incisor and the lower incisor, there will be an angle that is formed, that is known as the interincisor angle. Now the actual value is around 131 degree, the mean value 130 or 131 degree, and if this particular value decreases, that means if the interincisor angle decreases, then we can try to understand this. If you want to decrease this angle, it will be something like this, right? So there will be further proclination of the incisors. So where there will be proclination of the incisor, which can be seen in the class 2 division 1 malocclusion as well as the bimaxillary protrusion. Your incisors are more protruded. If the angle increases, right, that means these are more upright, right? So more upright, that means either they are retroclined or they are more upright. So that can be seen in the class 2 division 2 malocclusion, in which we see the central incisors are generally, upper central incisors are generally retroclined. Now the third type of analysis in the Steiner's analysis is the soft tissue analysis. So basically there is a line called S line, and this line is made from the soft tissue of the nose to the chin. Okay, so a line extending from the soft tissue contour of the chin to the middle of an S. So this is the S formed by nose hair. So middle of the S formed by the lower border of the nose will be forming an S line. So this will be an S line. Now we have to check the position of this lips in relation to this S line. If the lips are beyond the S line, suppose here, then the profile should be called as the convex profile, and the lips are said to be the protrusive lips. Same way, if it is behind this, if the lips are behind this S line, then the profile is said to be the concave profile, and that lips are said to be retrusive lips. Let's do certain frequently asked questions. Most frequently they ask the mean value, and you have to know the mean value so that you can find out and apply the concept as per that mean value, if the deviation is more than that mean value or less than that mean value. So first of all, the skeleton, there are 5 parameters. SNA angle, the mean value should be 82. SNB angle, it should be 80 degree. ANB angle, it should be 2. For occlusal plane angle, it should be 14.5, and the mandibular plane angle, it should be 32 degree. So you can find out the class, whether the person is class 2 or class 3 based on these angles, as well as you can understand or you can find out whether the patient is vertical growing or horizontal growing by these the occlusal plane angle and the mandibular plane angle. Now the dental parameters. Now these will be upper incisors to NA, that is 22 degree, upper incisor to NA linear. For NA linear, upper incisor as well as the lower incisor, it is same, that is 4 mm. So it is same 4 mm, right? Lower incisor to NB angle is 25 degree, and interincisal angle is generally 131 degree. Okay, now coming to the soft tissue, we have S line, and on which the distance between S line and the lips should be 0.